What up, Raider Nation? Welcome back to another live stream as we get started this afternoon. Nice to see you guys here. Yeah, we're going to be talking about some training camp. Let me pull up some stuff here that I want to pull off. Share screen. I want to pull off our. Yep, there we go. So there's been quite a lot of news going on about the Las Vegas Raiders in training camp. One thing that I absolutely love is Coach Carroll and his philosophy on things, as he has opened up training camp to the general public for the Raiders fans to be able to come in and see, which is absolutely awesome. I love to see that. It is something that, we didn't really have at all with Josh McDaniels. And we didn't even have it. I expected that to change under Antonio Pierce, and it was basically the same under him as well. And I think that's maybe because he just didn't have the power to really make changes that he wanted to make, as he was kind of just a placeholder for a year until they could fire him and move on. I think he got a raw deal in that situation, but I also think that he did not live up to the expectations that he really needed to at the time. Brian Rodriguez, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're doing great, my friend. So everybody, as we get started here, please go ahead and drop in your comments, because I love to read the comments. I love to have conversations with you guys. Got David King Raiders in here. Hey, Raider D, what is going on? Salute, my man. Hope you are doing well. Guys, let's jump into a few things here and get your question in for me also. And now listen, I am going to say this. I had a conversation with a member of the team yesterday, and he told me that some of the players who've now been there for 2 or 3 years. So they went through the McDaniels fiasco. They went through Antonio Pierce, and now with Pete Carroll. They are so pumped up for this season because the entire atmosphere in the entire organization has changed. That's what happens when you bring a guy from a championship team like John Spytek from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a guy who is a college national champion coach and an NFL Super Bowl champion coach in a Pete Carroll, and then you bring in brains like a Chip Kelly, and all of a sudden everything just completely changes, and I'm loving it, man. I'm absolutely loving it with everything that they got going. Brian says, looking forward to watch Thornton and Beck. You know what? Who I'm just the most excited for is Thornton. Dante Thornton Jr. has been ripping it up in training camp. This dude's size and raw speed and athleticism is killing our DBs. He's killing them. Now he's done a couple of interviews, and one of the interviews I seen where he said, like Jeremy Chin and some of the other DBs that we have, the veterans that are, they're quick, they're strong, they're big guys. They've been able to hold him a little bit, but then when you watch the footage, I think he's just being nice to his veteran teammates. That's personally how I feel about it, because he's absolutely killing it. And I'm gonna show you some footage here. Let me pull it in here. So this is just one of them right here. Boom, deep pass. That's got to be at least a 30-yard pass. And look, nobody around him. And this is the first day of pads with them also. Nobody's around him. Whoever was guarding him got burnt, because you don't even see him anywhere in the picture. Look, ball's in the air, and I'm going to try and see. Okay, So there's one defender back here. I don't know who it is, but I mean, Dante's so fast. This ball is clearly underthrown because he has to turn around backwards to catch it. But he's able to do that. He's able to track the ball, catch it, and then take off. I mean, look how fast. Like, I wish I could slow the speed down on this. Can I slow the speed down? No. That's what I'm talking about. Look how quickly he turns backwards, tracks the ball, grabs it, and then he's just off to the races. Easy touchdown. He's so big. I mean, he's not like Megatron type big. He's tall, but I mean, he doesn't have the huge muscular frame or anything like that. But I in my opinion, he's kind of like a Randy Moss. And here's the thing with a guy like Thornton, right? All you got to do is run the ball effectively. And if you can do that with Ashton Jeanty, you're going to bring in those safeties. You're going to make the linebackers crouch up. You're going to make the safeties respect the run game. And next thing you know, you're hitting Dante Thornton over the top for an easy 50, 60-yard touchdown. And you should be able to hit at least one of those per game. I'll say at least one per game. You should be able to hit him. Now, you should be throwing him the ball that deep probably 2 or 3 times per game. But you're probably going to hit at least one touchdown off of that every game. Every game. As long as you got an effective run game. Raider Dez, what's going on? Raider D, how's your day been? Man, just chilling. I say we'll be all right without Wilkins. Thoughts? I think we were okay without Wilkins last year. I think the defense stepped up last year, and they were able to do their job. Now, obviously, that didn't translate into wins because our offense was horrific. But I think the defensive line was okay. Listen, one player does not make or break your team. If you lost a Max Crosby, maybe it breaks the defense because he commands absolute respect from every defensive coordinator in the NFL. Christian Wilkins didn't demand the same type of respect. He didn't have the same kind of productivity, the high motor, that everything. Like he's a great player before he got hurt. And a lot of people were dogging him like, oh, he didn't do anything. Why? What do you mean he didn't do anything? He had like 15, 16 tackles in 4 games. He was doing his job. More importantly, he had a bunch of pressures, right? Defensive tackles aren't always going to get home. They don't have the speed that a defensive end has. So I think he's a great player. It's an unfortunate situation. There's a lot of rumors and drama about what happened in that situation. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to disparage the man's character like some people are doing. But yeah, there was some issue between him and the Raiders, and rumored between him and some of the other players. I don't know the truth or veracity of that, so I'm not going to get into it. But either way, he is now gone. What's going to happen with that guaranteed money of over $32 million? Well, there's going to be a fight because he filed they filed for it. Of course he's going to file a grievance with the Players Association. I think there's 2 things that could happen. Number one, it could send a bad signal to your playmakers that you're trying to be cheap, right? I mean, we still haven't re-signed Jacoby Myers. I think, to me, that's a no-brainer. That's something that should just happen. Colton Miller should just happen. We have the money. Don't play so cheap. Don't play the cheap game so much that we're not able to attract talent in the future, or we're not able to keep talent here. I think that's the longer-term issue with this move of moving on from Christian Wilkins. What does that tell star players about your organization? Time will tell. People have short memories. We've taken care of Max Crosby, so I don't think it's going to be a long-term issue for the Raiders unless it becomes a trend. Richard, what's going on, man? Salute, bro. Salute to you and everyone. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for showing up and listening. David King Raider says, I'm really not too worried about the defensive line. What I'm worried about is linebackers and secondary. I think the Raiders are going to lead the league in least amount of interceptions. I don't know, man. We already have a couple of interceptions in just 2 days of training camp, 2 or 3 days of training camp. I think the first 2 days we had 2 interceptions. So we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out, how it all translates. We've got a young core of studs in that secondary and linebacker room. Can they put it all together? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say yes, because that is the specialty of Coach Carroll. Coach Carroll tends to turn really a bunch of nobodies, a bunch of second, third, fourth, fifth rounders, and turn them into the Richard Shermans of the world. He's just got a knack for it. So if anybody can do it, I'm going to go ahead and say Coach Carroll can do it. Listen, I know like a lot of people were upset, including me, that the Raiders were not able to land Ben Johnson. I do just want to say that all is not well in Chicago. There's already apparently a big rift between Ben Johnson and their young quarterback, Caleb Williams. In fact, it was so bad the other day that apparently Ben Johnson blew up on Caleb Williams at practice in front of everybody, cameras and all, yelling and screaming at him, and then kicked the first team off the field, the first team offense. Just told them, everybody just get off the field. So that was the red flag. Like, Ben Johnson is a great offensive coordinator. But the red herring about Ben Johnson was that he's not really a people person. And remember, we went through that with Josh McDaniels. Now, we fired Josh McDaniels and came back with a very people person in Antonio Pierce. Problem was Antonio Pierce didn't know how to run a football team, and he also didn't have the clout. Even if he knew how to run it, he didn't have the clout to get Mark Davis to really just let him do his job. Right? They didn't trust him. And if you don't trust a coach, you don't hire him. I think that was a mistake. I think that we possibly could have had Pete Carroll last year. I think if the Raiders went to Pete Carroll last year and said, hey, coach, we need you to come in here and fix this darn thing, I think it happens. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but in hindsight, as I'm looking at it, now it's very early on, but in hindsight, I'm glad that we got Pete Carroll instead of Ben Johnson, especially with all the drama that is coming out of Chicago. Now, is that just Caleb Williams? Is just, yet another horrible choice from the Chicago Bears with a number 1 overall draft pick? I tried to tell everybody. Everybody that was screaming for Caleb Williams, for the Raiders to move up, sell the farm, and get him. I tried to tell everybody, if you watch this dude play, if you just watch his highlights, you'll think this dude is the greatest thing since cold milk. But if you watch his game tape, he's erratic. And then he's an emotional head case when he loses or doesn't get his way. And that I said, Jayden Daniels is special. Jayden Daniels is going to be a legit Pro Bowl, and if he has a long career, Hall of Fame quarterback. I said that. Go back and watch my old videos on Jayden Daniels. And so far, that's exactly what's happening. The knock on Caleb Williams right now is that he's not studying the playbook. He's going off script. And that is something that Ben Johnson cannot stand. Now you flip that to the Raiders right now. Is Geno Smith the best quarterback in the NFL? Is he even the top 5 quarterback in the NFL? No. But what Geno Smith is, in my opinion, he's a steady hand. He's a steady hand. He's not going to make too many mistakes. But he is going to make mistakes. He's going to throw those interceptions. That's just what Geno does. But he's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns too, especially with a guy like Dante Thornton Jr. David says, I'm actually fine with Pete Carroll. Ben Johnson isn't just another guessing game. In my opinion, you know right well what you're going to get out of Pete Carroll. Yeah, like exactly. Ben Johnson was an unproven head coach. Pete Carroll's proven. You know exactly what you're getting. And more importantly, Pete Carroll brings that status that allows him to dictate how he wants things done. Perfect example is training camp is open to Raider Nation. Free of charge. Go get it. You can just show up. That is something the Raiders have not done since they moved to Vegas. They would have a couple of open practices like we had last year. But that's it. That's it. You're not getting nothing else. And now the culture has changed. And I think that part of this is Tom Brady. And I think a huge part of it is Pete Carroll. That's just Pete Carroll's. Listen, Pete Carroll's mind state, when you watch him, what is he always talking about? He's like, man, we are the luckiest people on earth. We get paid to play our childhood game as a profession. So he still looks at it as this is a childhood game. And so it should be what? Fun. Which means you get the fans involved. That's what I'm really respecting out of Pete Carroll so far. If we don't make the playoffs, but we're super competitive, the fact that he at least changed the culture is a dub in my opinion. Now, would I like the playoffs? Obviously. And I think that the Raiders have a real chance. I'm going to show you an article here in just a second. Just a second. So, where is it at? Get out of this reel. Oh, I like this quote here too. Guys, and listen, this is from our Facebook group, Silver and Black Nation. 100,000 members, almost. We're at 98,600 members. Silver and Black Nation, guys. You got to come join it if you haven't already. The comment section, the conversations, it's off the hook. We have, a half a dozen moderators. I'm the official podcast over there. Great admins, great mods. We keep all of the spammers and the scammers out, right? So if you want to just see some real hardcore Raiders engagement, Facebook, Silver and Black Nation. That's it. Link should be down in the description of this live stream. GeoMax, what's going on? Raider Nation. Yes, sir. Chewy's NFL news and podcast. Raiders locker room is looking mean now. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of young studs in there, and I think that one of the things is that's been noted by people who've been there every single day, people that I talk to, is that the Raiders players, when they showed up to camp, nobody was out of shape except Christian Wilkins. Like, they were all locked in and ready to go. Everybody was in shape and ready to go. Augie says, our linebacker core is solid. I don't think we have ever had a linebacker position would experience hard hitting and smart dudes that can tackle. I'm excited to see Kuntz and Max play together again. Batman and Robin is back in 2025, man. I was saying it, like, I was so devastated when I found out the news that he was going to be out for the whole season last year. And remember, who broke that to you first? Right here, Raider D Podcast. A full week before the Raiders even announced that he would be out for the entire season. We dropped that for you right here as we got the intel for you. So if you like that and you haven't subscribed yet, check it. Hit that subscribe button. And also, guys, if you think that you're already subscribed, check your subscription status. In the past 2 weeks, we've lost 43 subscribers for no reason. We've never had a negative on this channel of subscribers. It's always gone up. It's never gone backwards like this. Except for maybe like when I first started the channel. So something's going on, and I hear that there's this weird thing that YouTube's instituted where, like, if somebody hasn't engaged with your video for a while or something, they're unsubscribing you from that channel. So just make sure that you're still subscribed if you already believe that you are. Chewy says linebacker room is full of vets. Yep. Bama says, did you cover Christian Wilkins today? I covered him when it happened. And I talked about it in the beginning of this live stream a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of rumors going on. There's some stuff about his character and his fitness and all this stuff. I'm not getting into that. I'm not going to disparage that man on rumors. What I do know is this: the Raiders have been very tight-lipped about the whole situation, other than they've just come out and said that simply he had not done what was necessary for him to be available to play. That's why they decided to move on from him, and that's why they're deciding to, for now, not pay him that $30+ million that they owe him for guaranteed money. Chewy says, I'm subbed. Good job, good job. Nice. David says, it's kind of a trip that Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh were rivals in the NFC West, and now they're going to be rivals again in the AFC West. That's true. It's weird. It's a full circle. I mean, it's not out of the realm. I mean, these types of situations have happened many times in the NFL because there is only 32 teams. So, I mean, it happens. Yeah, I mean, listen. Pete Carroll and the Raiders used to be rivals. Remember, the Seattle Seahawks used to be in the AFC West before they were kicked to the NFC. So Pete Carroll put some whoopings on the Raiders, but the Raiders put some whoopings on him too. And now he's the head coach. Augie says, I remember you broke the news about Kuntz. It was a Thursday, I believe, a week before the season. That sucked, man, but glad he's back and ready. Bay Area 510. Where you at in the Bay? I used to stomp in Oakland. East Oakland. 55th and Foothill, boy. That was a long time ago. That was a lifetime ago, though. I went to California like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Uh, we had a little mini vacation down in LA. Um, but other than that, yeah, I haven't been in Cali other than that for 20 plus years. I like this statement, Chewy. Yeah, Pete isn't coming back to lose. He said it. We're gonna win a lot. I think the Raiders have to play one game of the year in Oakland. Man, that would be awesome. I made the are they tearing down the Coliseum, the Oakland Coliseum? Because if they're gonna tear it down, I mean, where would they even play? But you know what I would, man, I would have to fly out to Oakland to go see that game if the Raiders were to do that. Even if, man, I don't know, where would they play? It would have to be, I don't know, Cal State Stadium or something, the Rose Bowl. GeoMex, 41 days until the Raiders 2025 NFL campaign begins. Oh baby. I mean, I'm even excited for preseason. I just want to see some football. Tony Sheffield, what's going on? Salute D and Raider Nation. Also, guys, if you were subscribers, so if you were paid subscribers, the channel got demonetized for the dumbest of reasons in the world. I literally put a little shorts video out about the relationship between the difference between mothers and fathers with their daughters. And, basically it's like, daughters go to their moms when they need emotional support. They go to their dads whenever they have a man, a boyfriend or something that needs tuning up. And literally they demonetized the entire channel for the next 90 days. So that means that if you were a paid subscriber and supporter of the channel, you should be getting a refund on that, as they have shut it down. So I don't get anything now. I mean, it's not like YouTube was paying me a lot to begin with, but now it's a big fat zero. In fact, the money that they owed me in ad revenue, they even took that. So now they're not even going to pay me that next month. It's a weird situation, man. Davis says, I think they will definitely move back to California, maybe not Oakland, maybe Sacramento, but it will never work out in Vegas. No home field advantage. Listen, winning cures all, man. Winning cures all. Here's the situation. Yes, we always had home field advantage in both Oakland and LA. You would always see the vast majority of jerseys were silver and black. You're not seeing that here. But even when the Raiders were horrible, like in Oakland, like the TV, we would get blackouts on TV because they would have half the stadium full and the other half empty because people wouldn't go. So I think that it's going to pan out in Vegas. I think it will pan out in Vegas because the homegrown community there in Vegas, the people that live in Vegas and Henderson and surrounding. Listen, when we were just down there, you see Raiders jerseys everywhere down there, right? Again, the Raiders it's an infectious culture. Wherever the Raiders go, Raiders fans end up either converting or following. wherever they go. The problem is we just haven't won games, man. We haven't won games. And so winning cures all. You know, just like they say in business, sales cures all. Right? Sales is a win. Everything else comes underneath it. The Raiders start winning, you're going to start seeing that stadium filled with silver and black. But we've got to start putting up we got to put the product up. Got to get the product up. Chewy says, is it Chewy? Am I even saying that right? Or is it Chew? It's got to be Chewy. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, bro. I think Pete is going to bring the Raider Nation to Las Vegas. Winning heals all pain in this industry. Exactly. Well, the motivation doesn't come from the ticket receipts. That's not what the players are worried about. The motivation for them comes from the coach. And we've got a great motivating, great winning, talented coach now. So yes, the stadium is going to be filled with people in it. But I also think this too, though, like I don't know. To me, it feels overblown. To me, it feels completely overblown. Yes, we will see a bunch of Chiefs jerseys in our stadium and whoever else we play. But still the majority are wearing silver and black. I get that, like, a lot of people will just go and say, oh man, it's not even home field advantage anymore. It still is. It might be a 60-40 split, so it feels like we're not the majority at our own stadium. But I haven't seen a game yet where I've seen more of the opposition jerseys than I've seen silver and black. And again, winning cures all. Winning cures all. If the Raiders start winning handedly, that's going to change things. Listen, they have a hockey team in Vegas. You could apply the same thing to them. They win a championship. All you see is their jerseys in their stadium. When you go to the women's basketball game, all you see is their jerseys. So when it comes to the Raiders, we just got to start winning. Win some playoff games. Win a Super Bowl. Be dominant. Great question here from Gio. How many points per game do you think the Raiders offense will average this year? I don't know how many, but I can tell you this. It's going to be more than we had last year. It has to be. We were bottom of the barrel last year in offensive scoring. Could not score within the red zone at all. And when you go and spend a number 6 overall draft pick on a running back, you're doing that because you want to fix that red zone. When you go and sign a guy like Beck, who's a big body wide receiver, almost a tight end, and you got Brock Bowers, and you've got Michael Mayer, those are 3 big dudes. And you've got the threat of Geno Smith just tucking it and running in. That's going to open up so much more offensive play that the Raiders just didn't have. And secondly, the Raiders actually have an offensive coordinator now. So I'm going to go ahead and say probably we're going to be somewhere in the top 10 scoring this year. If we can be a top 10 scoring offense, we're going to win a bunch of games. 28 points per game? Maybe. That's a good figure. That's better than what we were last year. Think what last year we were like 17 points a game or 18 points a game? Horrible. So yeah, I would go if the Raiders put up average of 28. Remember, that's the average. So if you're putting up 28 points, that means you're putting up other games somewhere around 35 to 42 points. Because you're going to have other games that are going to be defensive juggernaut games where you're only going to put up 15 points. So it's the average. So if you're averaging 28, that means you're also got games where you're blowing people out. And that's what the Raiders need to do. They need to blow people out. Don't make it close games anymore. Finish them off. And I'm telling you right now, that's going to fix the home field advantage thing. Because when you're such a dominant team, the other fans of other teams are not going to want to watch their team get blown out by the Raiders. And especially if they got to spend a couple $100 to do so. So we got to get to it. Got to get to it. Here's a NewYorkTimes.com has a insight on Dante Thornton, who continues to impress. Everybody that I've talked to says the same thing. This post is by Darrell Creighton right here. Guys, if you come and join our Facebook group, make sure you follow Darrell. He's our staff writer for our Facebook group. Absolutely does great research, great articles. I love him. It's a great job. Good job, Darrell. And he's always in it. This is another guy I want to talk about here as well. So Aidan O'Connell. Let's talk about Aidan O'Connell here. Aidan O'Connell impressing at Raiders training camp under Pete Carroll. Carroll spoke to the media last week. Before training camp practices even began, he was already praising O'Connell for his work throughout OTAs and mandatory minicamp. I think we got a good chance to see Aidan, and he's impressed our coaches, Carroll said. His learning ability, his understanding of the game, his poise in handling situations. We've been through a bunch of situations already in the offseason. Aidan did a really good job, so we see some real strengths in him. Listen, this is a backup quarterback. Head coaches don't talk about their backup quarterbacks like this. I'm telling you right now, just my opinion, but Pete Carroll had the same plan for Geno Smith in Seattle to eventually have him take over for Russell Wilson. I think that's the plan we got here. I think you're looking at the Raiders re-signing Aidan O'Connell to a contract extension, giving him probably $7 to $10 million a year, sign him to a 4-year deal, let him sit behind Geno for a 3-year stint, and then hand the rock off to Aidan O'Connell. I don't think you're going to see the Raiders do some crazy moves like try to sell the farm to move up to get a quarterback in the first round next year. I know a lot of people are saying that. Oh, let's just tank this year so we can get a quarterback next year. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. The Raiders are here to win now, and they are doing it. Oh, wow. Did you see that? Look at this. Oh. Highlight. And he was held. Ashton Jeanty is a monster, man. Just the way he moves. Look at this. Yeah, you better hold. And here's the thing. I can't make out the number for the DB here. But that's not going to look good to the coaches where you get beat by a running back like that, and two, you got to hold on to him just to slow him down. I know it's Ashton Jeanty and he's an absolute monster and everything, but my goodness. Look at this. Man, I can't wait to see this kid. Cannot wait to see this kid play, man. I am so amped up for Ashton Jeanty. It's a Jack Besh.
First day in pass, like red zone drills, like you got open out right, had a touchdown, had that play kind of together.
Yeah, it's all about just the scheme, what all the coaches are talking about. Just being able to attack leverage, uncover the DB's leverage. Find the ways for the QB to get a throwing window to you. Is going to have to make plays, but I like to start all my interviews by first thanking God, my Almighty Savior, for thanking my brother who's always with me on my shoulders. I feel like it's my mission to come out here and play ball. My greater mission to bring more people to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and to let everybody know my brother. So I just started off by praising Him, thanking Him for all the many blessings that I have, and just thanking my brothers in heaven, being the best guardian angel in God and Tiger. So.
How comfortable are you right now with everything that they threw at you, the playbook and schemes, language? It's a very different thing. Now, you went to two different colleges, so you had to make that transition once. What's this been like for you?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel very comfortable in the offense. Some days you'll see me at outside, some days you'll see me at inside, some days you'll see me at both. I know the Z and the A pretty well. Obviously, it's a lot of time studying the playbook. It's definitely, you get what you put into it, so all the hours you put in studying the playbook, kind of starts showing out on the field. But coming back from OTAs and really just grinding during OTAs and looking over it during the summer and our break and coming back and kind of going install by install, coming out here, it hasn't just allowed me, but it's allowed all the guys to come out here, play fast, free, physical. Everybody's getting a much better understanding of the offense, the schemes we're trying to run, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, where we're trying to go. And I think it's just been great for everybody, and I think you can really tell there's been a big jump from OTAs to now, just scheme-wise, of the guys knowing what to do, know where to go, when to do different things, en route, whatever it may be, runs, whatever it may be. So it's been great.
You said when you were drafted, anything you can do to help this team.
Yep.
Special teams are an important part of this league, and on this team, you got a great kicker, great punter.
The best kickers and punters in the league.
How do you fit in? Do you see yourself on special teams? Where do you think you get best help?
Oh yeah, 100%. I love physicality. Is one of my favorite parts of the game. We have the best special teams coordinator in the NFL, Coach Tom. So, whatever he needs me to do, front line. If that's punt return, kick return, kickoff, kick return, whatever it may be, I'm all for it. I like going and get dirty. I like putting my balls on people. So like I said, I'm all for doing whatever it is to help this team win and get to where we're going.
He said he wants.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about Jack, man. That he's going to bring that hard-nosed, gritty wide receiver, old school mentality to the wide receiver position for the Raiders. Right? Just not afraid to get down and dirty, not afraid to go and handle business, and just knock DBs on their butts. So I'm excited for that, man. Can't wait for the season. Guys, that wraps up today's episode of the live stream. Just wanted to jump on here real quick, share some thoughts with you as we're getting deeper into the training camp and stuff like that. Listen, I titled it Studs and Duds. My studs are obviously Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, for knowing that he's going to be the backup but still training his butt off, and these young rookies that we have who are really stepping up and handling business, like Jack, like Dante Thornton Jr., who's been lighting up people. Absolutely excited about the season. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. I hope all of you are as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button as well. And we will see you guys in tomorrow's video.